So, dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. So, this is our ongoing meditation session. So, once we get connected with the network, we're ready to start the session for today. Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you focus into the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes for ourselves to clarify, understand how this practice can help for us to develop our inner clarity. Because as you know, nowadays, there are many meditation techniques and people practice in different ways. And the people have different kind of needs out of meditation. So then it is better yourself to be very clear. And as you know, this word awaken, this awakening, and every day morning we awake. And sometimes for the liberation also, we use this awaken word. So the Samsara itself kind of like a dream. And this existence or this experience that we go through as ordinary living beings, it's kind of like a sleeping state. And this awakening state is so different than that what we think with our intellectual understanding. It's a total transformations to different level of understanding. So how this awakening can happen in us, and what is the very nature of it? And the very simple example is, as you know, when you sleep at night, in the morning you awake. So so when you awake in the morning, that you feel kind of like the release and the comfort, satisfaction, and the deeper self-confidence. And then how about when you're having a kind of like a very sad, worried, disappointed, very fearful dream? And when you get out of it, when you awake from that dream, suddenly you feel so comfortable, so relaxed, because it was a dream. It's not real. So in that very moment, what is the condition of your mind? That how you feel that regarding the awakened moment. So if you look the samsara, that kind of experience that you can gain through the wisdom also. And so this all we go through, the perceptions and the desires and the wanting, needs, the patterns, formations, this all kind of like a struggle that we having a dream. So then to get into that awakened state, it's a kind of like the path you develop to have a transition. So this transition is a kind of like that's the moment that this in between the life and the death and the life. It's kind of like this. Just imagine you travel from country to another country, and then there is a transit, and you waiting for another flight, and you already reached to the gate, and then you waiting for the flight. And during that time, so you left from another country, and you waiting to reach to another country, but in between this both, your journey not complete, but still that you have kind of like the comfort in you. You are so relaxed, and at the same time, still there is something need to happen. So, but at the moment, your mind not struggling, because you know it's going to happen in the moment you settle down. This moment is kind of like in day-to-day, everything with our bodily, verbally, mentally action, we experience that. So kind of like this transition, this from one action to another action, there is a gap in between. So it's kind of like the same thing when you look with the larger scale, the same thing with the the samsara from one life to another life. And as example, from when you die from here to the next moment, in between these two existence, this transition is kind of like inclining towards the wisdom or giving the kind of like opportunity for you to transform. So that's why kind of like, you know, in the Buddhist tradition, when someone passed away, we transfer the merits. We transfer the merits within, in that very kind of like the very day. Some people, when someone passed away, right away, they do that. And some people, when the funeral happened, that day they do. And some people after 7 days, 3 months, 1 year. Why they do that? Because in this transition, there is a greater opportunity for that person to incline the wisdom towards the transformation. So, how it can apply for us and what is it is important for us. So in day-to-day life, there is always, you have an opportunity, rather than going from action to another action, from going from one actions to another reaction, from reactions to another action, in between that, you have a greater opportunity to transform yourself, incline your awareness towards the wisdom. So that moment, it's kind of like in the Tibet Buddhism, it called, you know, boredom. So the boredom means that transition, the in between this intermediate moment that you gain. So just imagine you already prepared your dinner, you cook, that everything you cooked, but it's on the table now, but you didn't eat it. So in between these two actions, you cook to eat. But there is a way that you can transform it towards wisdom. You cook to eat, but how about you cooked and everything prepared for you, and that was your intention. Now you're ready to get into the action. And how about in that very moment, you sit to eat, and in that very moment, you offer it to somebody else. So that is what, in between the two actions, you have opportunity always to transform. So when you become mindful, when you become more awake in the moment, that is where you can recognize that. That is what another way called awaken moment. Because most of the time we go action to action, action to action, action to action. And we just try to maintain the life rather than transform the life. So from where the transformation come? Transformation come in between your own actions. So maintaining life means that the ordinary way, that whatever you thought and according to that intention, you create and you maintain your actions. But the awakened moment come, you have the intention and you create action, and then before you finish it, or before you go to another action, in between this, you change the pattern and you uplift your awareness and you change the action towards one of another way profitable skill. It can happen with any action. So that's mean your awakened state or the moment can happen in any moment. That is why this It's not after, the samsara or after death or kind of like in the very next life. No. Each and every moment there is an opportunity for you to awake. So get that. And today that I'm going to give you little information regarding your day-to-day life, how you can empower this awakened moment, how you can get into the middle of two actions and uplift the result of the action rather than maintaining it in day-to-day life. It's just not closing your eyes and practice meditation. For some people, it is very necessary, but remember that bring your awakened moment in day-to-day life with your open eyes when you engage with your inner world and or with the outside world. You can use this for techniques, for methods, and it will bring the light to yourself, this brightness to yourself, and it brings the awakened moment to yourself. In this dusty world, it brings the kind of like the litters, to shine a little bit in this very conventional way as an ordinary person when you maintain your life. So first one is always that the recognizing the value of human life. Reflect on it, preciousness of this human life, human birth that you have. Think about it. And when you do any action, rather than move forward little bit, avoid from the pattern of the action and think in this very moment the value of the very human life. If you really come to the point, right away what will happen? You will shift. That means you awake. So as example, you get so mad and disappointed and angry and you are ready to blame to someone. In that very moment, rather than go towards the action, if you step back, avoid from that reaction and think a little bit that regarding the value of this human life that you have, you will change. There is no way that you can hold the same way. Maybe you will blame, but not like that the first level of current. You will little bit may reduce, and maybe when you understand the value of your human life, and that is where you're going to appreciate the other people also. And maybe you try to hold something for you, and in that very moment when you understand the value of your human life, when you take it as a gift and you recognize what a great opportunity that you have. And it's that anything, anything around you, because when it comes to the world, most of people unhappy about themselves being as who they are. That's where we can't fix this world most of time. They are very disappointed inside them, comparing to a lot of other things. They don't appreciate them. They don't understand the value of this human life. So then when it comes to the Buddha's life, Buddha's teachings, the Dharma, this is one thing that you always can merge or the connect, revert towards the Dhamma, the recognizing the value of human life. It is, you don't need to hold it as a personally. You have to take it as a law of nature, law of Dharma, as a result that you go in this human life, that look at the the animals. Look how they behave. They always have the fear. Their life based with the fear. And the fear is the greatest way to escape from things. That's another way we call it, unnecessary fear. That is the greater protection, but human. For us, it is not that. Our wisdom, our awareness, our consciousness is the greatest protection for us. See the difference. So then how? Then you didn't have any kind of like authority or the power. Oh, I'm going to be a human being. So kind of like that. And the very next life, we don't know. We all know we're going to die, you know, and after we die, we don't know what will happen to us. Even forget about the death, even before the death, you know, we don't know what will happen tomorrow for us. Maybe we can be blind. We will lose these hands or kind of like that. You know, we will lose that everything that what we have. And maybe we can completely become handicapped. And I was listening to one of the, you know, he is a millionaire. I don't want to bring the name to him to this moment. He's a millionaire, you know. He's so successful in life by talking. And then he had a conversation and asked, what is the greatest fear that you have? He told, I always afraid I will lose my voice. See, that, you know, even he became so much, you know, successful in this conventional life. The fear that he hold not allow him to be open. You know, the same thing then. Ourselves, just imagine what will happen tomorrow for us. How you know that? You know, anything can happen. But today, in this very moment, you have this, your human life, you know, this precious human life. And out of this precious, you know, gift of the human life, what maybe you keep doing? You know, maybe if you create the anger, hatred, jealousy, envy, you know, then it's kind of like out of this greatest gift, you create a kind of like a shit. Don't do that. Always put the value on you and recognize out of your gift, create something. So that is that very moment uplift you, and it's kind of like giving a, you know, bring the awakened moment to you. So anywhere you can use this method. See, it's just recognizing yourself and understanding. Recognizing the value of this human life. And remember, it is a gift. And it is a privilege to be here in this environment like this, but no guarantee about tomorrow, okay? So then get the best out of you. Don't afraid for anything. As a human being, you know, just completely be open to yourself. Don't afraid, because the last thing can happen is the death. So somehow it's going to happen. So being open, being who you are, you know, gain the total freedom. If you die, it's okay for you. So that's why when it comes to Dharma, that's why when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, remember that deeply in your heart, resonate with the Dharma means that recognizing and settling down with the truth means, you know, giving the total freedom and giving the total balance for yourself to just be, not to look for something, just to be in this very moment as who you are. That is one thing. So when you come to that point, you awake. Okay, so that is the first thing. And the second one is that always contemplation on impermanence. Remember this everything, you know, this everything change. Nothing going to be permanent. And if you reflect on that, in that very moment, this awakened moment going to be there, the shift going to happen in you. It's maybe little bit, but by the time, what will happen? It has a power to multiply. So then always, with your bodily, verbally, mentally actions, or whatever the situations you engage with this outside world, whatever the environment, whatever the people, whatever the situations that you go through, always remember, nothing is permanent. This everything impermanent. And little bit contemplate on it and try to understand it and experience it rather than hold it kind of like intellectually. That is what we do most of time. We just, grab the thoughts and hold it, just, the idea, and just keep it. No, just experience it a little bit yourself. Look at your own life. See that how things change. And once you a little bit take it deeply, what will happen? The way you look regarding the life going, the point of view become more different. And once it become your foundation, it will help you to bring the light to yourself in any moment. Because most of time we get sad, worried, disappointed, unhappy. It's naturally we had this habit to take things personally, and at the same time we take things, kind of like a permanent thing. It doesn't matter how, how many times we heard the word called impermanence, but still most of time when it comes to us, we take it kind of like a permanent way. That is where you have to practice and take it out from you. And so the next one, always you have to remember to bring the awakened moment to yourself, law of karma. So all action has its own consequences, but always you have to remember that. And when you remember that, what will happen? You become very careful, and you have to remember the karma it has a different ways. But one thing I will mention, that one action you do in the moment has power to bring different reactions in the future. So then be very careful regarding your bodily, verbally, mentally actions. And at the same time, and another thing that you have to remember, the very motivation, the very intention of the action. So always look into that. So whatever the bodily, verbally, mentally actions you perform, once it performed, once it done, it has power to bring many reactions. Another one is, remember the intention. So if you look into the intention always, it's kind of like a giving, kind of like a, the moment for you to step back. And in that very moment, when you look into the intention of your own actions, in that very moment, it brings the awakened moment. It's a very little tiny, kind of like a spark, but that's is important for you. So always look into that. The karma is the foundation, that everything that go this way. And as you know, is that is where this all the cause and effect arise. Causation, action, reactions, and result. It has a way to go. And we have no power to challenge for that. Only thing is just to understand it. Don't try to challenge to the nature. Why? Because you are the result of nature. Just try to be Don't try to change. When you try to be, it make more comfortable. Relax for yourself deeply to settle down. But most of the time, what we try to do, we try to change the nature, we try to change the karma. We think, oh, I am the one, I am the boss, so I'll do it. I can do it. And people say, I have done many, oh, I will do this also. Remember, you are the very result of karma. You are the very result of the causation. You may, on the surface level, you keep playing like a children go to the beach, and play with the sand. But remember, be matured with your own thoughts. We like to be matured with the outside world, but inside ourselves, we are kind of like a very silly children. So be matured. That's what in this practice, that is what in this meditation path, bring as a gift to yourself. So be matured with your thoughts. Look at the world. You know better than me. You have seen around the world. Sometimes you have become kind of like a very silly children inside your own mind. Don't be so. Because if you don't behave that way, if you don't have the self-discipline yourself, no one can help for you. That's the reason. You will go through, in many ways. So remember that maybe you see some kind of result today in this very moment. The karma is in many ways. The right away there are some result can come. Maybe before you die, there are some result can come. Maybe, after you die, somewhere in the samsaric journey, that waiting that result, and maybe it's not going to happen. So, but somehow, remember, so far you came in this samsaric journey with the help of the karma. So that the one of the most important part is when you transform the transit, that from one birth to another birth. You can't claim, oh, I want to go there, kind of like, no, it's the power of the karma that's depend on the according to the intention of your thoughts. So that's why always be very clear with the intention that you have. Never. So how you can be very clear? If there is something related to the greed, hatred, or the delusion, step back and try to bring your loving kindness, generosity, compassion, wisdom towards that, your bodily, verbally, mentally action and perform. And sometimes right away we can't do it. So then what you can do? Know yourself, you have the greed, hatred, or the delusion, and perform that action. Because when you knowingly perform that action, the strength of the outcome going to become very low. So otherwise, if you think the greed, hatred, and the delusion, and you hold it to that thinking it is right, what will happen? The outcome going to become so strong. So that's why when you look into that, if your action motivated by the greed, hatred, or the delusion, your intention is related to the greed, hatred, or the delusion, remember, if you can stop it, if you can't stop, just know it, reduce the power on the way. Because as I mentioned, in between two actions, there is always opportunity for you to uplift or incline it towards the wisdom. In any action, in anything. So get that opportunity. That is why when you observe and recognize, when you see yourself, when you analyze yourself, you get that power in day-to-day life with any actions. With any actions. So then every day you get the opportunity. Everywhere you get the opportunity. Just look yourself. With each and every action, you have an opportunity to transform. So that's why observing inhalation, because it is a very subtle moment. That's why observing inhalation and exhalation bring the ability to recognize that. Your mind becomes so sharp and clear. and vivid. So that is where you see in between two actions how the transformation can happen. Otherwise, maybe sometimes people live a whole day, they don't see the change. They live a whole life, they don't see that opportunities. But now, say, you gain that opportunity action by action, action by action. Then you don't wait till, another Samsara. You don't wait till another Buddha. You take this moment of opportunity. So the fourth one is, the first one, the preciousness, the value of the human life. And the third one is the contemplation of impermanence. And the second one, and the third one is the reflect on the law of karma. The fourth one, defects of the samsara. Because deeply, kind of like deeply we attach to certain way to become. And always, sometimes, even the practicing Dharma and practicing meditation may be deeply have a desire to create a kind of like a pleasant journey through this samsara. But remember, always reflect on this imperfection of the samsara. So I'll give a very simple example for that. Just imagine you have 1,000,000 years. So in that 1,000,000 years, you have kind of like 10,000 lives, existence, and minimize that. Minimize that. Just imagine you have 1 hour. That 1,000,000 years you bring to the 1 hour. So just imagine in day to day that in one hour that you have, how many kind of like thoughts arise in you, and in that thoughts, you become a different person. And it's kind of, that is the very nature of the samsara. That according to the moment, as who you are, your mental formations, that your format change. And maybe you watch kind of like something, and then you transform to that environment in your mind. And then within another 5 minutes, you start to do some work, and your whole mindset transform to that. And then within another 10 minutes, you're going to be somewhere, and then in that environment to completely you become somebody else. And then within that 1 hour, just imagine how many characters that you hold. See that what happened to that. It's go place to place. It take different colors. It take different positions. Then how about one day? Your consciousness go kind of like a roller coaster existence, lifestyle. It's just not maybe you are a mother, father, child, husband, wife, partner, friend, or monk, even ourselves. Sometimes, we become somebody while we experience in this life. Inside our mind, we transform. So the same nature in the samsara. Just imagine in the 1,000,000 years that now you put something to your head, and you record all that within 1 hour, how your mind go to different places. Maybe you watch something and then you become with it, and then you listen to something, then you become with that, and then you start to talk with somebody, then you become with that. So like that, within 1 hour, you go kind of like your behavior, your character, you change in a different way. Just imagine 10 kind of existence. You hold 10 kind of characters within that 1 hour. Just imagine, expand that 1 hour to 1 million years. That is the same nature of the samsara. Different lifestyle, different becoming, different wanting, and the desires and the formation. You develop that all. So this imperfection of this journey, that it doesn't matter wherever we go, whatever we become, that always you have to reflect on that. So that doesn't mean you go beyond that the moment and not just see the very nature of mind, this change. And that is where you gain the strength to go with this and determine yourself, look for the end. So when it comes to suffering, there are 2 ways of suffering. One is suffering towards suffering. That is one of the, it's kind of like a hell. But some people like it. Suffering towards suffering. Sometimes that, as you know, in lay life, even the monk life, that any life you take, it's not easy. Especially, that this monk life is not easy. It's like a hell, very difficult. But still, from that moment to the, another, you create another same kind of hell very next day. The lay life the same, any life. And sometimes whatever you keep doing, and you say maybe, oh, this is a hell, for me, this is very difficult for me. And once you get out of it, mostly you get out of it believing and thinking and planning, hoping with the desire to find something else, believing it's going to be good. So that is what called going from suffering to suffering. Look yourself, that anything, that whatever the difficult things, most of the time people attach to that. People enjoy that journey. And no one, experience, oh, this is very difficult and just get out of it. That as example, organizing a ceremony or the event in a temple is very difficult. Not easy, and once you finish it, and then what happened, when the next full moon come, again we plan another event, there is no end. We have to do it. And another one is suffering to end the suffering. That is the greater, that is the joy, that is the bliss. So learn to get that kind of suffering. It's okay. Because the liberation or the transformation or the wisdom, it's not going to come very easy especially for us. Why? Because through this samsaric journey, we used to enjoy with the ignorance so much. So then we have this habitual pattern. We are like animals, wild animal, not listening to, Dharma. Always we have a dark side always calling for us to go to that wild side. So because of that, we have to pay some extra kind of like attention, So then, but when you recognize, this imperfection, the very nature of the samsara, and when you determine, I have to find the way to get out of this. I want to awake myself from this dream or this darkness. And then maybe you have to, practice a little bit more. You have to put some effort to get out of all these self-centered desires we keep feeding ourselves. That in that very moment, to say no to our own inner emotions or the desires, very difficult, hard. A lot of people can't do it. They just wash away from with that. So, but little by little, it happened to us also, but little by little, try yourself, put some effort, when that current come, hold a little bit. That is where you gain greater joy. It's very difficult, painful, sad, disappointed, because this is what you used to do, but now you're not going to do it, So, but give a try. And that moment, the moment of holding, it's bring the moment of awake. That is what need. When you develop that strength, little by little, remember, by the time, this transformation, it's going to become complete. So that completion happen little by little, you have to accumulate this profitable skill. So then remember, in day-to-day life, in between the actions, bring the wisdom yourself to understand the preciousness, the value of the human life, and the contemplation of impermanence, and the law of karma and imperfection of samsara. So that will give the opportunity for you to experience the awakened moment. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit. So your right palm on your left hand, neck straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Sopatveva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge in this moment with this sitting. May my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. And when it happens through the sensation, recognize it, do nothing extra. Bring attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away. Already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as light. To your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all six directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation. without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavatacha sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Attaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadhi maranam ha paribunjissami Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.